Good evening. Welcome back to the second segment of the Glazov Gang. And our gang members this evening are Michael Walsh, Josh Brewster, and Shant Kenderian. Welcome back to the second segment.
Good to be back.
Ladies and, gentlemen. I'm sorry I usually have ladies on the program, but my producer Annie is here, so that's why I sometimes say ladies and gentlemen. That wasn't that interesting.
No offense taken, eh?
Yeah.
Are you making fun of my Canadian accent?
Oh, I would never make fun of your Canadian accent. Where are you from? Scarborough, eh? Kitchener?
Gentlemen.
Hey, after this, hold up. After this, got to head over to Tim Hortons, huh? Get some crullers.
Josh, I don't really think that that's called for.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But let's continue.
I'm sorry. I'm deadly serious.
Gentlemen, during the first segment,
Yes.
Michael touched on Afghanistan, saying what a failure it is in terms of the American quote-unquote expedition there. Hagel just visited there. I think that Obama's good war has failed. Let's begin with you, Michael. Why do you think it's a failure?
I think it's a failure because you don't end a war by saying we're leaving tomorrow. Have a nice day. I mean, I grew up in the Marine Corps. Marine Corps has a certain way of fighting, which is mostly kill everybody and make sure they don't get back up off the ground. So that's how I was raised. And we're not doing that. We're not finishing a war. You know, Obama said the other day, well, I have to finish a war. Well, what does that mean? You finish a war. And you're not going to finish that war in Afghanistan.
But wait, are you saying that Americans should stay and fight properly?
No, I think they should leave. I think they should have left in 2002.
They just should have left.
There's nothing to do there. It's a country that is only imaginary. It has a culture, but it's not a country.
Well, wait a minute, Michael. What if we leave too early and Al-Qaeda and the Islamists start rebuilding their training camps and the Taliban takes back over, or you don't think...
I don't care. They're going to do it in Mali. They're going to do it somewhere, and until you go after the root of the problem, they're going to keep popping up.
So how do we go to the root of the problem?
No, that is sorting them out in a very serious way.
Okay, but overall, Afghanistan's a failure. You think we should just get out of there?
I think they've wasted a lot of American lives in Afghanistan.
Josh?
Well, I want to touch on something. I think building off what Michael's saying, the concept of limited war is getting us into a lot of trouble. And if you're going to go to Afghanistan, okay, you're going to have to get serious about killing as much as you need to kill and making a point and getting it done. Any kind of limited war. Yeah, I'm not talking about going nuts on innocent people. I'm just saying if you're going to go there big time and let God sort it out, or else, don't get involved in this limited war. It's not getting us anywhere.
And Josh, there's all these strange rules that
what are these rules?
have now. You have to be attacked before you shoot back.
Yeah, so don't go there if you're not going to get serious. If you're not ready to go Dresden on people, then don't go.
So was the war a failure?
I don't see how you can say it's a success.
I don't think it's a success because the Taliban
Should we just get out?
We're going to have to cut our losses. If we didn't go big enough to kill it, then you have to cut your losses.
Shant, how do you see it?
Knows that region better than I do.
I don't understand Afghanistan because I thought we went there to get Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda.
Okay.
And so that was done. But we stayed. So I don't understand the goal.
The concept was nation building, I guess.
No, the concept was to go after
Al-Qaeda. And prevent Al-Qaeda from coming back.
After they attacked in September 11, that's when we went there, to get them. And
now just wait, what do you think about the idea of staying in Afghanistan and building democracy?
I don't see it. It's, like Michael said, it's like it's a mirage of a country.
Okay, so Shant, you believe the Americans should just get out?
I think so, yeah, a long time ago.
A long time ago. Now, okay, Josh, very quickly.
Michael touched on something with the Saudis earlier. At some point, and I know it's a touchy subject, you have to ask the Saudis or put them on the firing line and say, how much of this business are you going to be involved in? You're over here fighting in Afghanistan. Sponsors are sitting there in Saudi Arabia, but nobody wants to open their mouth, I guess because of the oil. So get real clear about, the whole picture of terrorism.
But how are we going to do this?
You can't just chase
How are we
Al-Qaeda
going
out
to
of
do this with an
Afghanistan?
administration that has Brennan as a CIA chief that doesn't even believe that jihad exists, right?
But we're not going to do it with this administration.
Right, and it might be too late afterwards.
Yeah, but was Bush willing to do all the things that need to be done to tell the truth about where the money comes from?
No.
Was he really willing to take the Saudis' feet to the fire? Let's be honest now. And I support Bush.
But he was holding hands with King Abdullah, so, what did that tell you about Bush?
Okay, now, these particular problems. Shant, you were referring to something during the break that I would like to get something from you on. Americans' ignorance about the Middle East and some things about Middle Easterners that they don't get about Americans. Can you touch on that briefly?
Well, Americans can't understand the Middle East, where religion is a fundamental part of their personality. That's one thing that they can't understand. And then the tribal connections, all these other complex social structure in the Middle East, it's far beyond anything you can see or imagine in America. In Iraq, I can, from your speech, I can know if you're Christian or a Muslim and what city you're from. And Iraq is only as big as California. Okay? And so people have that. The way you dress, the way you talk, your name, people can look at me, they know I'm a Christian.
Okay.
And so Americans don't understand that.
And why do they need to understand that?
Because that's how it functions. That's how the country functions.
But this is in a large way why the left just doesn't get it, because the left thinks let's just give them money and be nice and they'll love us. But a lot of Muslims in the Middle East take the Quran and Sharia seriously.
Iraq wasn't like that.
Oh. Yeah.
What happened in Iraq, Baghdad fell in one day. Americans just drove through it.
Okay.
It fell in one day. It's a big city. Okay, there's a little village that fought for 2 weeks before the British.
But just a second, Shant.
Yes.
Christians are coming under increasing persecution in
They are.
Iraq with the rise of Islam and
Yes.
with Sharia. You can't deny that.
Correct. And a lot of it is happening from non-Iraqi Arabs who are coming into this country because this is their battlefield. Every lunatic who wants to fight an American and kill an American and die for that cause is coming to Iraq to do this.
Okay, Shant, how about Middle Easterners and what they don't get about Americans and what we need to understand?
They don't understand that the Americans don't care about religion. They don't understand that the American does not differentiate between a Christian and a Muslim. They see American as a Christian country. I was taken, interrogated in rooms where you see blood and chains on the wall because I had American ties, because I was Christian mostly, because my name was different.
So there's a lot of ignorance on both sides about each
Yes.
other's culture. Michael, what do you think of this?
Well, I think we continually misapprehend, as Shant was saying, what the so-called Arab world is about. I mean, we have to see it not in terms of artificial states that the British drew on a map after World War I, and see it on one side, as the Sharia people see it, as an ummah of connected Islamic countries in which nationality is secondary to religion. I think that's what you're saying,
Correct.
Shant. And we haven't credited the power of religion to do that since the religious wars of the 17th and 18th centuries. That's 300 years ago as far as we're concerned. But it's today in the Middle East, and that's our problem.
Josh?
Well, I think that this strikes at the heart of the issue of nation building. And nation building operates under the assumption that, yes, people want secular society. They want to live next to Jews and Christians. They're conditioned to wanting to be free. And I think that's a lie that we've told ourselves many times. And I do believe that as much as I'm disgusted with the whole idea of a peace process, because I don't think it exists, I don't think people want to give Israel peace, even a cold peace with the Mubarak's Egypt, even a cold peace with Jordan is preferable as we regress and we lose even some basic structure of peace. It's just bad. If we could have added a third or fourth or fifth cold peace between an Arab country and Israel, it would have gone a long way.
Okay, gentlemen, we have to switch over now. There was once a song that said, "When the music died." And now I would like to say, when the Republican Party died? Question mark. Michael, did it die? Is it dying?
Well, I like to say I'm a conservative, not a Republican. I don't see the two of them necessarily, as a Venn diagram.
But the party's failing big time.
The party's failing because it doesn't stand for anything, it doesn't believe anything, and it doesn't have, as I said at the David Horowitz thing, it doesn't fight. My remarks were basically, look, we don't mind losing. We don't want to lose, but we'll lose. But we have to fight, and we don't fight.
And conservatives are not fighting.
Yeah, there's something, though, that Mike... Oh, go ahead, Mike.
No, you go ahead, John.
No, I was just going to add to this. Yeah. The tent's got to be big enough. You can't go around saying, look, I'm a conservative too, but this whole idea that I'm a conservative and I'm not a Republican, that's sad. Their tent is not big enough. They see the Tea Party. The Tea Party was a gift.
They hate the Tea
And they
Party.
hate the Tea Party. Yeah. They see the Libertarian, they hate the Libertarian. Social conservatives, religious conservatives, blah, blah, blah. Get the tent big enough or you're going to continue to lose. Bring in the conservatives. The Tea Party was a gift. And I said this at the Horowitz event as well. The left saw Occupy Wall Street and said, you're one of us, we're one of you. And the right sees the Tea Party, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people, and they say, oh, it's okay. The media's narrative of them as racist, that's okay. It's a gift. be strong on the borders, be a good conservative, be strong about fiscal responsibility. They don't want to do any of it.
And Josh,
they
during
want
the
to be
break,
nice, stand for something.
but
Josh,
during the break about going for the heart and the emotions, you were saying that David Horowitz has it right. Briefly say why.
Yeah, no, briefly. David Horowitz has it right. Go for the heart. It's at frontpagemag.com.
But what does that mean?
What it means is you have to strike at people's emotions, and you have to get them to understand what conservatism is all about and why this leftism is poisonous. And you have to be ready to blurt out things that are true.
And Jamie, I work in Hollywood. I give it to you one sentence. It's Braveheart when he says they can take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. And then the Scots go "Rrr," and they run off and they kill all the Englishmen. You've got to give people a simple slogan to hang their hat on, and it has to be about a big idea. And if freedom isn't good enough, then we're in real trouble.
Now, just a second. Now, Shant, how do you see this fighting here in America between the Democrats and the Republicans? And the Democrats are kicking the butt of the Republicans, and the Republicans seem completely incapable of fighting political war.
I lived in Baltimore for 5 years when I did my studies, and then when I came back to California, you see this battle. You feel like you're losing every battle as a conservative or Republican. But I'm a scientist, and I'm surrounded by other scientists, and I'm surprised to see that the people around me, they all are, most of them, are conservative. You get this the opposite impression from people. But we live in California, and that's the battle that we have to fight. Our voice.
When you say we, you say that as a conservative?
Yes.
And what's the conservative's basic problem?
What seems to be sometimes labeled under political correctness, but it's not really.
They're afraid to even.
They're afraid to say words.
They're afraid to talk.
The Republicans are going along with the PC narrative. If the media says you're a racist to talk about the borders, then the Republicans say, "Oh, I don't want to offend anybody here. Let's have amnesty. They'll love us." Now, if they really understood the Mexican-American community, they would understand that Mexican-Americans can handle the truth and can handle a logical argument. But the Republicans, they just want to breeze by everything. And if there's a narrative that says the Tea Party is a bunch of white racists, then they go along with it and they throw them out of the party. And you lose another election.
And Romney tried to be nice.
Be nice.
He wanted to
five
be nice,
states.
right?
We'll give all our money to Karl Rove. We'll win these 5 states. We won't try to inspire the whole country. We're going to try to.
But he was trying to be nice rather than
and now
for the jugular.
And now you lose.
Right? He should have gone on Benghazi. He should have gone on everything.
Well, he could have had a golden opportunity to go after Benghazi in the debate. And we're all standing around saying, hello, Benghazi? Remember the ambassador and 3 other people were killed? Not a word. And that's the whole Glazov gang could be about consultants. I'm for putting them all to the sword and starting over again. Because these guys don't know how to win. They know everything about an election except why you have it.
Just a disaster.
The Republicans need to get their message across to the working people. Look, you need someone to create wealth. Romney, the country's $16 trillion in the hole. You can't win this election? You're $16 trillion in the hole.
Final words of wisdom on Republican failure?
Well, I agree. Economically, it doesn't make sense to elect the same president again. Mm-hmm. We had failure after failure. But the guy speaks well, and the media just cheers after him. The Benghazi issue, when Romney brought it up, Obama turned it around and said, well, he personally went and consoled every family. So what? That doesn't, and then the media made him like a hero. But that,
But that speaks to speaking to the heart.
Yeah.
He immediately personalized the issue. And then we're left with, but and abstractly, blah, blah. You can't win an election that way.
Shant, your thoughts on Obama?
I'm not happy. I think...
Is he a danger to the country?
I think I would say, I don't know if it's a danger to a country, but he's not helping the country in the time of crisis.
And the media is quiet about it.
Here's a good question for Shant. Shant, is Obama clear on the Middle East? Is he clear on what it's about?
No.
Is he clear?
No, I don't think he understands it.
And I would argue that he's intentionally facilitating the path of the Muslim Brotherhood, but that's a whole other matter. Gentlemen, Pope Francis from Argentina. We have a specialist on Catholicism.
Well, just
Michael
a
Walsh.
lifelong Catholic. I was on the air with Hugh Hewitt when this happened, so we talked about it on the first segment of the show today. I'm very happy with the choice. I think we weren't expecting that particular guy. It's an interesting choice in that he's an ethnic Italian, and Most people don't know that the largest minority group in Argentina is Italians, not Spanish or anything else. He's a conservative, but anybody who's going to be Pope is not going to be in favor of gay marriage, say. He's very strong doctrinally, and I think he's got a nice common touch, and I think we'll be very pleased. The only surprise was that he's old. He's 76 already, so it's not going to be a long papacy. But I think it'll be a good one. Also, the significance that can't be underestimated for non-Catholics, taking the name Francis, which evokes Francis of Assisi. He's about humility, poverty. He's a Jesuit, too, which means he's intellectually very smart, and I think he'll set a really good example for the Catholic Church.
Okay. Shant, your views on the new Pope and its significance?
It's I'm an Orthodox Christian. We Armenian Church does follow a lot of the guidelines of the Catholic Church, but not necessarily everything. So I'm just intrigued.
Are you inspired?
Not yet.
You're intrigued but not inspired?
Yeah.
And the last words of wisdom go to Josh Brewster, the intellectual, on the Glazov game.
Well, good luck with that. I wish the Pope all the success. I hope that he's strong morally as a Catholic, and he stands up for all the things he believes morally as a Catholic. Less politics, more morality, and I don't have to agree or disagree with Catholicism to see a wonderful image of a Pope who is standing strong for his own Catholicism. Less politics and more Catholicism and more morality and standing up for the common guy.
Thank you very much, Josh. You piqued my curiosity. The people I grew up with in Canada, you speak exactly like them. Can I just hear it one more time very quickly?
Well, we got to go out right now, to Tim Hortons and get a crawler, eh? You did a great show tonight.
That's incredible. Michael Walsh, Josh Brewster, and Shant Kenderian, thank you very much for joining us on the Glazov Gang, and we'll see you next week on the Glazov Gang.